Do you like my rose garden? This is the culmination of my favourite recent project. It is a creative project. I've wanted a rose garden forever, and I always thought I'd have to wait until I lived in my own home before I could have roses in the garden. But even though I'm renting, I can put them in pots. This is my great realisation during the pandemic. Wait a minute, I don't have to wait, I can do this now. So this is Gertrude Jekyll, this is Sceptred Isle, this is Desdemona, the white one, Lady of Shalott, Sir John Betjeman and Wallace Knowles Hall over here. And I absolutely adore them. And this is just a project I finished yesterday. So you would not think that it was much of a project to buy some roses and some pots and plant them, but I've never done this before, so it was a journey. And there were a couple of points where the journey kind of stalled a bit, and it reminded me very much of how it is with my sewing projects. And actually I brought a lot of what I've learnt doing sewing projects into what happened here. I only realised after it was done, because there are always points in almost any project when the project just stalls. Something goes wrong, something doesn't go to plan, and it just sucks all of the energy out of the project. And you're just done, and you put it down, and you just don't wanna anymore. And it just leaves this open loop, as in this open, unfinished story, unfinished project, UFO. And you're sitting there going, well, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I wanted. And so you are now at war with this project. It is now your enemy, and you put it down and you don't pick it up again. And this can happen even with the smallest project. You know, when I was replacing the waistband on my red skirt, I had a moment when it stalled. When I put the new waistband on, I went to all this trouble, and then the placket just sat open like that, and it wouldn't sit closed. And it was like, this was supposed to be a quick and easy project, and it's not working out that way. This is not what I signed up for. You are not my friend anymore. I'm going to put you over there because we're now not talking. Here's the thing. When you sign up for a creative project, you are signing up for an adventure. That's what it's supposed to be. It's always going to ask more of you than you had in mind. That's part of it. That's part of the point of it. There's always going to be a place where it's going to go off-piste and you're going to have to pivot and go in another direction. And the key is to just pivot and plough on through and keep going, even though it's not what you had in mind. Problem solving is the journey. There's going to be problems to solve. There are going to be bits that don't go to plan. That's what you're doing it for, in a way. It's about the journey. Don't get caught up in the injustice of it not going to plan. It's like, oh, this is not what I had in mind. Don't get caught up getting into an argument with it, because this is not what you signed up for. That drill is not what I signed up for either. You have to suck it up and just pivot and keep going, because that's how you keep the momentum of the project. If you stop and let it get to you, it will suck all of the energy out of the project and leave you with a UFO. You have to just suck it up and keep going through. Like with the roses. I ordered these huge planters, which are actually bigger than I need, and that's a story in itself. And then I had enough I had to buy bags and bags and bags of compost. When I went into this, I looked at the price of actually buying a rose plant, and it's like, this is actually not astronomical. You know, they're not $1, but they're not actually that expensive. I could do this. I could totally do this. And then as soon as I got into it and realised exactly how many bags of compost I was going to need, because I don't produce it in the garden, it suddenly started getting expensive. I managed to do 3 of them and leave 1 barrel. 1 barrel was left empty because I ran out of compost. And now it's going to cost even more. So that was one of those moments where it was like, this amount of money is not what I signed up for. So I was able to say, instead of just stopping and getting caught up in it, I just went to this place of, okay, suck it up, we're buying more compost. Not what I had in mind, we're just going to do it because I want to keep going. I want to keep the momentum going. So that's what you have to do, whether it is a problem of, you know, it's hard to say just suck it up and spend more money. You may not be able to. You may need to think of another solution. But don't let those things, those places where it doesn't go to plan, get the better of you. You just have to plough through and keep going. You have to keep the momentum going to keep you going through to the end of the project. And that's why projects stall, because you lose that momentum when something doesn't go to plan. When you get into that place of it being such an injustice that it's not working, I wish that guy would stop with that drill. When it's not working out, we tend to think this is not going to plan because I'm in charge here. The project is not in charge. This is not going how I wanted it to. I'm going to stop because I'm in charge. You're not in charge. The project is in charge of you. The project is your teacher. It's not necessarily going to go to plan, but the project is there to teach you something. What is it trying to teach you? Is it trying to teach you patience? Is it trying to teach you flexibility? Is it trying to teach you a new skill? Is there something new you need to learn in order to move forward? Is it teaching you to chunk it down further into smaller steps so that you can get through it? Or is it just trying to teach you faith to get through to the end, to just keep going? That's my notes blowing up in front of the camera lens because I stick them on with a piece of sellotape and it doesn't matter when I'm indoors. But I'm going to plough through because that's what we do with creative projects. So I'm going to say to you, yes, all right, we've had enough of that. The notes of my teacher this week. So what's your teacher this week? What project is trying to teach you something? What's the lesson that you're not wanting to take in? You need to pick up that project that's in the corner that you've had an argument with and let it teach you what it's there to teach you. Because if you can just keep that momentum and suck it up when something doesn't go to plan and just keep ploughing through, that's how you keep going through to the end of a project and see it done like my roses are done.